Hello, hello. Hey, everybody. How is everybody? How is everybody tonight? We're starting at 7:20, a little bit early tonight. 7:30 was the time we were scheduled to start, so I thought we'd start a little early tonight. Let's see. Hi, Olympic. Hi, DJ. Excellent. Hello. Hi, Isaac. Welcome. 4014. Hello. Nice to see you. How is everybody tonight? Goku. I was here first. Yes, you were here first. Welcome, Goku. Ethan, hello. David, hello. Layden, hello. Cindy, hello. Hi, everybody. Titanic Man. Hi, Operation. Thank you. Jack. Hey, Sam BMX. Hello. Darlin, hello. Tan, I've been a fan since 2000. That's awesome. Tyler, hello from Australia. Hello from West Virginia. Oh, yeah, guys, for the first time, I'm actually wearing a T-shirt during one of these. Do you guys like this T-shirt? West Virginia. That's my home. Diana, why did Titanic sink? It hit an iceberg. Ethan, do a video on the MS Princeton? It caught fire off the coast of Alaska in 1980. Amazing, all 520 people on board survived. Wow, I've never heard that. I will look into it. Charmed, hey Samuel, I see you're from the UK. That's awesome. Jack, nice T-shirt. Don, hello. Hope you're good. I am doing good. Don, pretty. Hang on a second, guys. Okay, you need to. Yeah. All right. Jason, hello. RX, hello. Padme, hello. Oh, hi, Padme. I see you there. William, I just finished building my 1/1000 CL Titanic model. That's awesome. You should join the Discord and share some pictures of it. Yeah, in case you all didn't know this, we do have a Discord up finally, so everything's good on that. Hi, Backyard Garage. I tried to message you back on Xbox. Mr. E, Sam, do you remember me from Wednesday? Yes, I do. Welcome back. I remember you. Cody, well, howdy. Really enjoy the channel. Hi, Cody. Let's see. Derek, please do a video on what the survivors did the next day. Oh, after the Titanic. Well, Derek, I'm getting ready for Titanic week. We're coming up on the 109-year anniversary. So I'm going to kind of put that into the whole, timeline of Titanic. That's kind of my plan for the whole series for Titanic anniversary, is do a series of short videos covering the entire disaster. From April 2nd to April 15th, I'm going to make a timeline of videos. I'm going to try to upload them as often as I can. If there's a day where there's not much activity with Titanic, I might spread 2 or 3 days into one video. Jennifer, my son is obsessed with Titanic and loves you. That's awesome. Tell him I said hi. Show, what's up, Sam? Hi, Show. Open, I'm Sony from Thunder Bay. Awesome, nice to meet you. Normal person, first super chat of the night. Thank you, $4. Thank you very much. I don't see a question though, but hey, thank you for the super chat. RX, congrats on 27.4. Well, thank you very much. I couldn't do it without you. Hi, Graham. How are you tonight? I had no idea. Welcome back. I see you in all my streams, don't I? What happened to the Carpathia? Well, initially she rescued the people on Titanic, and then she went back to her own route. I believe she was torpedoed in the First World War. I know she was torpedoed, but the timeline, I don't know exactly when that happened. Landon, you should put them together in one big document. You can call it Sam's Point of View on the Titanic. Landon, that's actually what I was thinking. So do an entire series of videos covering the Titanic disaster, and there'll be like part videos, like every day or every other day I'll upload a video, and it'll be like a series of videos. And then after it's all over, I'll combine them into one video, and boom. Lewis, hello. I love Titanic and your vids. Thank you. Tan, you are the fastest growing YouTuber I've seen in a while. Thank you so much. And honestly, I couldn't do it without you guys, so that's awesome. Excuse me. Hello from Toronto. Hello. Hello from West Virginia. Goku, what if Titanic had a gash after she hit the iceberg? Wait, what? What if Titanic had a gash after she hit the iceberg, and how fast would you sink? It all depends on how big the gash was and where the hole in the hull was. Technically, with the Titanic, it was just a series of small punctures or openings. It wasn't one giant hole. And it all depends on where the hole is. Tyler, you should do a video on the Kaiser Wilhelm II. I don't know much about those ships, but I know a little bit about them, so it's on my list. David, Sam, what happened to the Discord? Oh, it's all up. Everything up there is up already. Normal person, another $5. Thank you so much. What if Titanic hit the iceberg on the port side instead of the starboard? Normal, you're actually jumping a little bit ahead there. I'm actually going to make a dedicated video about that. But to summarize, I don't think Titanic would have made it an hour. because the ship was already listing a little bit to port due to the coal that they moved from the starboard to the port side. So while the ship was sailing, it had a slight list to port. And then when the water came into the starboard side, the ship actually did stabilize briefly and then list to starboard. But then as the water kind of spread around the ship leveled out and then went down more or less evenly due to the offset of coal. If the water would have come in on the other side, there would have been no offset. And I think Titanic would have rolled over and sunk in probably less than an hour. Okay, so let me see here. There we go. All right, what's next? Brad, how did they get the Queen Mary from the Atlantic to the Pacific? Was the Panama Canal built yet? I don't believe the Panama Canal was built yet, but I don't know that. Does anybody in the chat know when the Panama Canal was built? I'd have to look that up. And I know the last voyage of the Queen Mary was a very long one. So as far as exactly where it went and everything, I know it was very time consuming, but I'd have to look into that. Anybody in the chat know what year the Panama Canal was built? I'm very curious now. Adam, would you be willing to cover naval battles? Would be interesting to see a video on the Battle of Jutland or something similar. I'm actually not familiar with that battle, but yeah, I am going to cover war stuff. As far as warships, I think I'm going to cover the Hood and the Bismarck because those have a crazy story. So I'm going to cover that. Probably that'll be the first warship I cover. And then maybe we'll cover like the Battle of the Bulge or Midway or something like that. We'll go into that stuff, but that's interesting too. I do want to cover the Halifax explosion. I do want to cover that. Jonathan, will you ever cover the Empress of Ireland? Yes, I am going to cover the Empress of Ireland. As far as other ships, though, that's going to slow down over the next month because we are in Titanic month, and I want to do my part in that. Since this is primarily a Titanic channel, I have to do that right. Let's see. Lewis has a good question. Hang on. All right. $5 super chat from Karen. Thank you very much. Your theory on the Edmund Fitzgerald is exactly what happened. Thank you so much, Karen. That's awesome. And thank you so much for liking the video. And thank you for the $5. Lewis B. I wonder why there is quite a big hole on the bow of the Titanic was because of the wait, what? I wonder why there is a quite big hole in the bow of the wreck of the Titanic was because of the way it sank. I know what you're talking about. So what you're talking about is if you look at the wreck of the Titanic, there's a giant hole around here, or wait, it's on the port side, I believe. But there's a giant hole on the Titanic wreck up above the waterline, or like right around here, up above the red paint. And that was caused by the ship slamming into the ocean floor and bending and warping. That's what caused that. Plus some of the hydraulic pressure effect that was going on from the impact. Yes, Titanic lever, you got it. Kurt, the Panama Canal was built in 1881. Really? Was it that old? I had no idea. Alan, if the Titanic hit the iceberg dead on, would it have survived? I don't believe so. If it would have slowed down a bit, it was possible. But you got to think this giant ship is traveling at 21, 22 knots. And then if it just slammed into an iceberg at full speed and just suddenly came to a halt, think about how much structural damage you would have. Pierce, I joined your Discord server. That's awesome. Let's see. I can't pronounce your name. Peak, do a video on the Donia Paz. The Donia Paz is on my list. I'm going to get there. Mr. E, you're my favorite YouTuber. I love your videos. I hope you get more subs. Thank you so much, Mr. E. David, Sam, have you ever played Roblox? I have never played Roblox. I actually heard somebody on Roblox actually took my name, but that's not me. Fox Starline, the Arizona survived, though. Are you talking about Pearl Harbor, Fox Starline? B. Bill, Sam, you need to get a couple of mods here to filter out the trolls. Yeah, I thought a few of them were going to come online, but I haven't seen any yet. Well, I'll do the best that I can here. Let's see. Isaac, hello, Alex Crawford. Could you do a dedicated video on the Nomadic and Traffic? The Nomadic is on my list. That is something that I am going to cover here as soon as I can. Zach, where do you get your ship models? I buy them from the Titanic Honor and Glory store. That's where I get those ship models. Let's see. Ethan, answer. The Panama Canal was opened in 1914. So was construction started in the 1800s? Brad, what would happen if, let's say, the Disney ship sank today? That would be crazy. Depends on how it would sink. That's the whole deal. The reason the Costa Concordia was such a disaster was because of the captain and everything that happened, and negligence. In today's modern world, everything's tracked, everything's monitored. And that rock that the Costa Concordia hit, they had it on map. They knew it was there. They just messed up the navigation. Let's see. Alex, Olympic, how are you? Oh, okay. Lender, play Grand Theft Auto 5. Those ships. Oh, yeah. I play GTA 5. I've seen them. Let's see. Or Orin, I have a video request. Mount St. Helens. Mount St. Helens is on my list. Do you guys want some more volcano videos in the future? What did you all think of the Pompeii video? Priestley. Hey, Sam, what would happen if the Titanic struck the berg in the middle of six water? Okay, so I think what you're trying to say is, what would happen if the Titanic had struck the iceberg in the forward section? Well, you see, the Titanic could only handle the first 4 compartments breached. That's it. So the only reason it was able to withstand 6 compartments so well was because, it was because it could handle 4 in that section. But if it would have had 6 compartments breached out here, the ship would be doomed, basically. There'd be no way it could stay afloat for long like that. I think it would just drop at that point. Let's see. Backyard Garage. That video was great. Thanks. I love the Pompeii video. That's awesome. 4th, I literally have my own series on YouTube channel just for sinking some toys. That's funny. Even, can you please do a video on the SS Andrea Star? I feel like I've heard of that ship, the SS Andrea Star. I'm going to make a note of that one real quick. SS Andrea Star. I will look into it. Thank you so much for the idea. Andrea Star. Got it. Okay. Lisa D. Hi, Lisa. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I had no idea. Why did parts of the stern come off when it imploded? Well, the whole structural integrity of the ship was compromised. The whole thing just kind of crushed and bent and warped. I mean, of course, the whole structure would just fall apart at that point. Not to mention the vortex of water that would be flying around it. That's what would happen to that. Let's see. MS. Love your videos. Thank you. ZGG, are you going to play Among Us after the stream? Probably. We'll see. Yeah, in case y'all didn't know this, I have a Discord, and sometimes we all go in there and we play Among Us after the live streams or videos. So if you ever want to join us in Discord, come on in. Emil, good video on the Estonia. Thank you so much. Even, sorry I'm late. It's fine. Welcome. And if y'all can hear that drinking, that's Rosie in the background. Rosie's in the kitchen right now drinking water. Rosie! Here, say hi. Say hi, everybody. There's Rosie. Rosie, say hi to everybody. All right, HMT Olympic. I gotta go. Good night, Sam. Good night, Olympic. Oh wait, we got a super chat. That's awesome. Frank, $5. Thank you so much. Great show. 2 authors predicted the Titanic sinking. Amazing to learn one of the authors died on the Titanic. Flex seal tape would have been nice. Yes, flex seal tape would have been nice. As far as 2 people predicting the Titanic, the only one that I know of is Morgan Andrew Robinson. He wrote The Wreck of the Titan. As far as the second one, I'm not very familiar with that. I feel like I do. I feel like I heard something about it, but I don't think I know exactly what his name was. What was his name? And oh, hang on a second. I think we got another super chat. Alicia, $3. Thank you. Make a video. Thank you both for the super chats, by the way. Make a video on the SS Carl D. Bradley, please. I am not familiar with that, but I will go ahead and add that to my notes. Thank you so much. SS Carl D. Okay, thank you so much for the super chat. I will look into that. Thank you. Wow, we've got 200 people in here. Hi, everybody. Jackal, did they have a ship that was called, I don't know that one. Jay, hello, Sam. Hi. Hi, Jay. Okay, Swordmaster, what made you interested in ships? The Titanic movie from when I was a kid. When I was a little kid, I went to my grandparents' house and they had the Titanic film on. And it was actually the scene where Murdoch told Captain Smith, should we get the women and children into the boats? And that was the scene that I'm like, what's Titanic? I asked my mom that, and that was it. Tyler, gotta go. Bye. Bye, Tyler. Dana, what if collapsible A and B imploded in the staircase? They would have been ripped apart. I don't think if the collapsible A and B would have imploded, I think they would have gotten sucked in by the vortex. That's what I think would have happened. And the boats would have just gotten broken apart. Let's see. Captain, rest in peace, the lobsters on the Titanic. Okay, so let's see. Sebastian, is there any chance to find something very expensive in the Titanic? Well, honestly, every single thing in the Titanic would be crazy expensive. Think about if you pulled a plate up or something like that these days. Every little thing you find in there would be expensive. I forget the name of, there was this work of art. It had like a lady on it or something. It was a painting. But I think that was the most valuable thing on the Titanic. It was I don't know what it is off the top of my head. Fox Starline, hey man, I haven't talked to you in a while. Sam, what do you think of the V-brake theory? I don't agree with it at all. Trip, thank you for the Estonia video. I'm glad you liked it. What did you all here in the what did everybody in the chat think of the Estonia video? That video was a lot of work, a lot of research. And I am aware after I did finish the filming, at the time I'd only heard bits and things about some of the problems with the story of the Estonia. But after I finished the video, I started watching some dive footage and started reading about some of the like conspiracies surrounding it, and it's pretty crazy. There's a lot to the Estonia that I had no idea about. Fox Starline, I sent you a message. I'll look at it after the chat or after the live stream. The live stream is going to go till 8:30 tonight, so we're going a little longer tonight. It's 7:30. 5 from Nathaniel. Thank you so much. Hi. Do you think you will do a video about the Wilhelm Gustloff? I already made a video about the Gustloff. It's on my channel. But thank you so much for the 5. That's awesome. The Estonia video was good. Thank you. The video was good. I researched it further. That's awesome. Wait. Do you think Captain Smith was actually drunk? No. Captain Smith, while he did drink, he never drank at sea. So the captain did not do like. So many people give Captain Smith a hard time when they really shouldn't, because one thing that isn't that widely known is the captain did actually divert the Titanic further south than what people actually believe. You know, he listened to the ice warnings, so he actually changed the ship's course and had it go further south. And, you know, it was just horrible bad luck. And they didn't know about the cold water mirage. And there was just a ton of things that went wrong. The captain followed regulations based on what was happening at the time. $2 super chat. Elise, thank you. SS Carl D. Bradley is a ship that sunk GR. I'm not sure where that is. But okay, I will look into that. Thank you so much. Let's see. Huck. Hi, Sam. Did you know that I saw yesterday 2 photos of Olympic? One was her being built, and the next was her about to be scrapped. So the beginning and the end. Yeah, the Olympic is a very well-documented ship, and I want to do a dedicated video just on Olympic. I've been trying to figure out the proper way to do it, but I don't think I can cover the Olympic in a 10-minute video and do it justice. I think it'll need like a series of videos. Whoa, $5 super chat from Backyard Garage. That's awesome, man. Excited for game night. You should do a video on the, you said Huntley, but I'm assuming you mean the Huntley. The Huntley is on my list. Thank you so much for the super chat. The Huntley, for those of you who don't know, it was one of the very first actual military use submarines. It was used in the Civil War by the South, and essentially it had like, it's pretty freaky when you look at it. It had like 8 guys get inside this metal tube, and the way they propelled the ship through the water was they would all like turn this lever, and that's how they turn the propeller. And I don't know, just assume that this is a submarine. They would tie a torpedo to the end of the submarine's bow section or whatever, the front, and then they would ram a ship, pull back, and then a rope would hit the trigger and set off the bomb. I mean, pretty freaky if you think about it. It's pretty I mean, cool at the time, but still, the Huntley did not have a good record. I believe it sunk most of the times it went out. Elise, $2. The Great Lakes. Great Lakes. Great Lakes. Okay. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Sank in a storm, similar to the Big Fits. Okay, I will take a look at that. The Great Lakes are full of shipwrecks. There's an island called Mackinac that we like to visit every couple of years, my family, and they tell us that there's so many shipwrecks on the Great Lakes. I believe they just found one from about 100 years ago, maybe a little longer. And when they were looking at it, it was in perfect condition. Perfect condition. And they're like, how on earth did this vessel sink? And then it turns out they think the ship got coated in ice. So while this ship was sailing on the Great Lakes, it got covered in ice, and then it just dropped. You know, so much ice was like on the boat that it lost buoyancy. So that's crazy. Alan, 5. Hi. Oh, I like that. I guess that's one of those super stickers. I haven't seen one of those yet. $5. Thank you so much, man. That's awesome. Captain Alice, the Estonia was excellent. Just can't understand why they can't bring up the dead bodies. Now, Captain Alex, you're getting into some of the whole conspiracy stuff around the Estonia. And I don't put much stock in those, but I will say this. The Estonia is kind of freaky. Joshua, $2. The Bradley was a, whoa, we got 2 super chats. Thank you, guys. Joshua, $2. The Bradley was a Lager that sank in the 60s. Okay, I will take a look into that. Thank you for the super chat. 5 from Karen. Awesome. I heard pieces of the Grand Staircase were found near the stern, mainly the metal and gold frame, meaning that it got sucked out. Well, if you're talking about the stern section, that could be one of 2 places. So this right here by the first and second funnel is the first main Grand Staircase, the one we all know. But what many people don't know is the Titanic had a second Grand Staircase or an aft Grand Staircase. And I believe I believe that it's right around here. This is the location of the second grand staircase. So it's possible, and they looked almost identical. So that might be what they found, was just evidence of the second grand staircase. It had a dome, it had all that. So that could be what they found. Let's see. Jason, 20. Wow. Thank you so much, man. Thank you for all your great videos. Look forward to all of them. Keep up the great work. Thanks, Jason. And thank you for the 20. That means a lot. Thank you. Listen, guys, I honestly could not do this without all of you. So thank you all so much. It means a lot that 232 people, 235 people are in here watching this premiere right now. So that's awesome. Thank you all so much. Fox Starline, the aft grand staircase was similar, just the clock was different. True. Ethan, to add context to my answer, the French started building the Panama Canal in the 1870s, but they abandoned it. America picked up where they left off. That's very interesting. What was that canal that they mentioned in The Crown? Apparently, I think it was in Egypt or something. It was like a whole big deal right after Winston Churchill wasn't the prime minister anymore. There was some canal that they made a big deal about. They mentioned it in The Crown, but I can't remember what it was. Gamer Boy 13, what's your favorite flavor of ice cream? Chocolate. Hands down, chocolate. Disney's got this chocolate strawberry ice cream that's really good. Daryl, the Suez Canal. Okay, that's it. The Suez Canal. Elise, $1. Thank you so much. The Suez Canal. Man, I can't get over how fast you guys just figure out this stuff. I ask y'all a question and boom, y'all know the answer just like that. That's incredible. Normal person. I owned one of the first treaties of the Civil War. How on earth did you get that? I would love to talk to you about that. Come into the Discord. I really want to talk to you about that. Lewis, Discord. Let's see. The show must go on. Hey, Historic, do you think they should have taken more photos of the Britannic's wreck site interior? I would love to see more photos of the Britannic's interior. And somebody else left a really good comment that I think would shed a lot of light on, that I think would share a lot of light on the whole Titanic grand staircase. I'd like to see what happened to the Britannic's grand staircase. I would love for them to take an ROV and just cruise on in there and just take some pictures, you know? Let's see what's hidden inside that grand staircase. Hey, wait a minute. I think I saw another super chat. Yes, we did. 5 from Brett. Thank you so much. Hello from the UK. Well, hello from West Virginia. I love the UK. I need to come back there very soon. Sarah, I'm back. Welcome back, Sarah. Elise, meant $2. Another ship you'd like is the Kamloops. I've never heard of that ship. I will look into that. Let me make a note of that. Was that a Great Laker? KK, what happened to the Titanic's funnels? Well, they fell. They fell during the sinking, but I believe they just eroded over time. Because you got to remember, the Titanic's funnels were very, very fragile structures. You know, they're not anything too big. So they're made of metal, but they're like a thin metal because all they were meant for was to hold smoke. Christian, what is your favorite ship? What is my favorite ship? I wonder. Titanic, of course. But my second favorite is probably the Queen Mary. Ash, the Mary Celeste and the HMS Victory would be cool videos. They're both on my list. The Mary Celeste is really creepy. Correct me if I'm wrong, but did the Mary Celeste travel through the Bermuda Triangle? I'm pretty sure it did. Would you guys like some dedicated videos on some of the mysteries of the Bermuda Triangle, like missing ships that sailed into the triangle? We can talk about it. That could be one of my first aviation videos is Flight 19. Talk about some of the mysteries of the Bermuda Triangle. Let's see. Joe Biden, the Discord is in my community page. There's a link to it down there, so just go in there and click on it. Oh, and I saw your comment, by the way. That was funny. I will get to your video, I promise. It's on the list. Jackson, yes to what? Oh, wait, hang on. Did I miss? At least $2. Kamloops was a Great Lakes ship. Okay, that's what I thought. It has a famous corpse. A corpse, really? What's on it? I don't know anything about that. Sarah, my name is Caleb, but I'm on my mom's account. Oh, okay. Hi, Caleb. Let's see. Wicked Will, do you know about the Goodwin family on the Titanic? You would have to remind me. The Goodwin family sounds familiar, but I'm drawing a blank on it. I'm drawing a blank as to what their story was, but I do feel like I've heard the name. They weren't the people who got in trouble for the whole lifeboat bribe thing, were they? Pacific. Hello. Hi, Pacific. Oh, I recognize you. Dre, it's an interesting question I asked. Dre, what was your question? If you guys ask me a question and I don't respond to it, then just send me the question again, or just keep resending me the message. Because you say I have an interesting question, then I don't see it. Then by the time I ask you to repeat yourself, then sometimes I miss the question. So let's see. At least $2. Floating corpse. It's in the engine room. Oh, okay. I will look into that. Mr. E. Sam. Hi, Mr. E. The rare, make a video on what happened to the animals on the Titanic. That is going to be a dedicated video. I believe that John Jacob Astor released the dogs from the ship's kennel as that room was flooding. But as far as actual dogs surviving the sinking, I believe only 3 were, and they were all small dogs that were put into lifeboats. I don't believe any dogs that were inside of the ship or that John Jacob Astor freed actually survived. Let's see. Martin, can you do a Britannic sinking with your models? These models are not meant for the water, and it took me so long to get these. If I put these in water, I'm sure it would ruin it. And also, it wouldn't sink right because, look, there's a giant hole in the bottom and 2 giant holes. And the porthole windows you see here, they're all openings as well. You can shine a light through them. So, yeah, it wouldn't sink anything like the Britannic. Let's see, ZGG. Why do you like the Queen Mary so much? Mostly because I have my own little personal connection to it. Well, and another one is it's the reason because the ship's still around. And the Queen Mary has a fascinating history, but it was a man who taught me violin when I was a young kid. And I knew him for 10 plus years. And basically, he was like my grandfather, and he ended up sailing on the Queen Mary during the Second World War, and he fought in World War II. So just because he was on board the Queen Mary, and he was like a grandfather to me. I loved him like a grandfather, so that's why I like it so much. Whoa, 50 from AR. That's awesome. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Your excitement for history is contagious. Find great models at Roller 3D. I will look into that. Thank you so much for the 50. I'm going to make a note of the Roll. I've never heard of that. Is that like a model company or something? Let's see. I'm making a note of that right now. Models. 3D. Thank you so much. Holy cow, $50. All of you guys are incredible. Everybody here is incredible. That was incredible. You guys are awesome. I'm going to take a look at that. And I believe we got another super chat. Did we get 50? Okay. 2 from Elise again. Hi. Please do a video on the Seawise University. The Seawise University, otherwise known as the Queen Elizabeth, the sister ship to the famous Queen Mary. The Seawise University, for those who don't know, the Queen Mary had a sister ship called the Queen Elizabeth, and it was also retired. And it had a long, complicated history. People were trying to save it, just like they tried to save the Queen Mary. And eventually the ship ended up in Hong Kong. The Chinese were going to use it as like a floating university. And this is where the story is a little confusing. Somehow the ship caught fire and the whole thing rolled over and sank. And then they pulled up or scrapped what was left, and then they buried it in concrete. Some people say, there's a lot of questions about the fire. How did the fire start? There's some conspiracies around it too. So let's see. BMX, I want to join Among Us, but I don't know how to use Discord. There's a link to it down below, but there's a ton of YouTube videos on how to set it up. You can private message me, and I can try to help you somehow. We can get in touch. Let's see. Dog, you're amazing. Thank you. Give me a sec, guys. Talking for so long, it tires me out. Let's see. Herb, what do you think the ship in the Suez Canal? Why do you think the ship in the Suez Canal beach? I don't know that much about the Suez Canal. I'd have to look into that. The only reason I even know what it is just because I like the crown. So as far as that whole area, I'm not sure. The Little Good Doctor. What editing program do you use? iMovie. I need to learn Final Cut Pro. I need to just kind of mess with it and just get into that because iMovie has been fine for just getting started on YouTube. And iMovie is basic, but honestly, you can do a lot with it. That's how I built up my whole channel. I've just used iMovie. Free software that comes on a Mac. Eloise, I'll send you a link to the Bradley on the Discord. Okay, thanks, Elise. I will post a new link to the Discord and the community page after the live stream. I will do that. Squash, have you heard of the HMV Princess Victoria disaster? I feel like I've heard the name, but I can't place it. Hang on a second. Joe Biden again. How much damage would you have to do to make Titanic capsize? It's not about how much damage you would have to do to Titanic to make it capsize. Any ship can capsize. It depends on how the ship actually floods. So if the ship, like I said, I think Titanic would have. The only reason that Titanic didn't capsize was because of how she struck the berg. So she struck the berg on the starboard side, but with the offset weight of coal on the port side, that's why she didn't capsize. But I think if Titanic would have had the exact same amount of damage on the port side instead of the starboard, that offset weight of coal wouldn't have made a difference. And it would have caused the ship to sink even more. I think Titanic would have rolled over and sank in less than an hour. So people really don't understand. People like to say the coal fire caused the sinking. The coal fire is the reason that over 700 people survived the disaster, in my opinion. That, and there were other things too, but yeah, anyway. The Titanic is a very odd phenomenon of a way a ship could sink. 5 from Brett, thank you so much. What is your favorite series of The Crown? Ooh. I really did. If I had to pick one, probably the first season. Yeah, probably the first season of The Crown. Just seeing how Queen Elizabeth got started and that whole thing. The last season was pretty intense. The whole stuff with Diana, that was pretty sad. Let's see. Mr. House, video suggestion. What if the Titanic's engines remained on? Would it have sunk faster, and could it have saved more with getting close to Carpathia? No, it wouldn't. You see, the reason... Well, let's actually go with this. You see, remember, guys, the Titanic took 2 hours and 40 minutes to sink, all right? Now, Britannic, bigger, safer, better watertight compartments, she sunk in less than an hour. And the big reason for that was because she was moving forward. You see, when a ship begins to sink, if it's moving forward, you're just accelerating the sinking, and the ship has nowhere near the control or buoyancy that it did before. So the whole time they're moving the ship forward, they're just driving the bow deeper and deeper underwater. So if Titanic would have tried to make it to Carpathia, she would have dropped like a rock. I mean, what they did that night was the right thing, was just to stop the ship. I know the Titanic continued on for about 10 minutes or so, but I really don't think that made much of a difference. Whoa, we got some super chats. Did I see? No, okay. CB Pump 20, thank you so much, man. Hey, Sam, video idea. What was Titanic's maiden voyage actually like? We know the ship sank on the voyage, but it seems not much is said about the voyage besides that. Any events happening? What was life like on board? CB Punk. You're trying to jump ahead a little bit, man. This is actually something that I was going to cover for Titanic Week. So my plan for Titanic Week, to the best of my ability, I need to do some research, is I'm actually going to cover the timeline of events. And I'm actually planning to start on April 2nd, because April 2nd is when Titanic did its sea trials, and that's when it left Belfast for Southampton. So my plan is, to the best of my ability, I'm going to try to cover the Titanic's timeline of events up to the sinking. And if a couple of days go by where there's not much going on, then I may skip a few days. But April 10th through April 15th, I'm going to be very busy. Shoot, probably through April 17th, I'm going to be busy. This will be a busy month on the channel, a lot of uploads, because I want to do Titanic history right. But since you did the super chat, I am going to give you one little tidbit. I believe it was the third night of the voyage. Don't quote me on this, but I know that one of the first class passengers was walking down the grand staircase, and it had that tile. Anyway, somebody had just finished cleaning the grand staircase, and this first class passenger slipped, and she broke her arm or she broke her leg. I can't remember. I heard this a long time ago, but that was one of the more interesting events for that day. And also the wireless broke. The wireless broke on Saturday night, I believe, and the wireless operator stayed up all night fixing it. So there you go. But yeah, I'm going to be talking about all that stuff during Titanic Week. Let's see. I actually saw from KK. Do you blame Bruce Ismay for the sinking? Hang on a second. Okay, so here's the deal with Ismay. I don't think Ismay caused the sinking. And you got to remember, he's also not, he's not a sailor. He's a businessman. And he wanted the Titanic. Shia, thank you for the 5. I see it. Let me finish this question, then I'll get right to it. He didn't cause the sinking. There's all these things that, he was putting pressure on the captain to arrive in New York a day early and speed the Titanic up. Well, you see, there's a big problem with that. See, Titanic had 6 boiler rooms, boiler room 6 through boiler room 1. And even though the Titanic was traveling around 21 knots when she hit the berg, that's not the Titanic's full speed. Not really. I mean, I know they say it is, but you see, boiler room 1 was never lit. So if the Titanic was going for a speed record and Ismay got the captain to accelerate the ship, boiler room 1 would have been turned on. So boiler room 1 was never lit through the entire voyage and never lit through the sinking, period. Boiler room 1 was never lit. So up to the sinking, the only boiler rooms supplying Titanic with power were 6 through 2. So wouldn't you think if they were going for a speed record that they would have lit that boiler room? Now, Ismay did not look good. He did not look good in the sinking. You know, the fact that he left the ship without even getting his feet wet, and the fact that he tried to slip back to New York on the Carpathia or another ship after Carpathia dropped him off, you know, and he like wrote his name backwards in telegrams to try to hide people. So, I mean, he didn't look good. It was very, very shady what he was doing. But he wasn't a bad guy, if I'm making sense here. I just think he made the wrong decisions. All right, $5 from Shia. I'm sorry it took me a while to get to that. Ismay's complicated. If you could go back in time and board the Titanic, but you got a 50% chance of getting a message to the Californian and everyone's saved, would you go? Yes, I would try to do it. I would try to do my part and save people. Because honestly, if you could go back in time and somehow get the Californians' attention and get it, all right, say this is Titanic, well, it is Titanic, and pretend the Britannic is the Californian. If the Californian did pick up the Titanic's distress call, the water was so calm that night, the Californian could have just pulled right up beside the Titanic, and they could have just lowered the lifeboats and gotten everybody off of this ship as she slowly went down and moved everybody over to California. If Californian would have responded, I think that things would have been a lot better for Titanic. And you also got to remember, a similar situation to that also happened. Guys, help me out here. What year did the Republic sink? I'm drawing a blank. What year did the Republic sink? Because the Republic sank a few years before Titanic, and they didn't have enough lifeboats. But other ships responded, and they were able to lower the lifeboats, transfer them over, and go back and forth. So that's kind of what they were hoping would happen with Titanic. 1909 was the Republic. Thank you so much, Celtic Lines. Let's see, Backyard Garage. How much are those models? I'm thinking of getting them. They run about $100 or so. They just take forever to come in. I still have some models I'm waiting on that I ordered over a year ago. So 1909, 1910, 1909. Man, you guys are incredible. Let's see. Darrow, do you think the Titanic's passengers could have been saved using the Iceberg trying to avoid the freezing water? Oh, gosh. No, I don't. Because you got to think, when the Titanic struck the Iceberg, it hit the berg, and then it just kept on going. The Iceberg was gone pretty quick. And you also have to remember, I actually made a video talking about if Titanic could have survived hitting an iceberg dead on. I made a dedicated video about that. Go check it out. But I also talk about how unpredictable icebergs are. I mean, just last year, 2 years ago, somewhere around there, these two guys were trying to climb on a berg, and the whole thing, no joke, just flipped upside down on them. Actually, you know what? Here, I'm going to do this for you guys. I'm going to post a link to that whole situation. Iceberg flips on guys. So yeah, this will show you guys. I'm going to post a link to it in the description or in the chat, and you'll see that how unstable icebergs are. So if you were trying to climb onto a lifeboat, I mean, honestly, it would be so, I don't think you could do it, because just these two guys climbing on this berg would have caused the whole thing to drift and spill everybody into the ocean. Can you imagine, like, how would you even back the Titanic up to get it right there by it? The ship could go in reverse, but how could you maneuver it enough to get it right beside a berg while it's sinking? I mean, I don't even know how to do that. Let's see. Captain Alex, what year would it have to be for the Titanic's 200th anniversary? Let's see. 2012 was the 100, so 2112, if that's what you're asking. David Andrews, you should do British history. British history, yeah, that'd be interesting. Like, talk about the whole history of England and the UK and all that. That'd be really cool. Let's see. And I kind of already do British history because I talk about Titanic. It's a British ship, so Al, do a video on the Kaiser Wilhelm de Grosse. It hit an iceberg in roughly the same area as Titanic and survived. Really? I've heard the name Kaiser Wilhelm de Grosse, but I've never looked into it. I will look into that. Thank you so much. Titanic lover. Wow, icebergs are so sensitive. I just watched the video. Yeah, that is a crazy video. I mean, honestly, that really does show you how unstable icebergs are. I will post that one more time in the description in case you guys missed it. But that really does show you just how crazy it is, like how easy it'd be to, get flipped on an iceberg. Nathan, I would have been on the Queen Elizabeth too. Oh, that's cool. Let's see. Mitchell, do you plan on covering the SS Sultan disaster from the Civil War or the General Slocum, which caught fire and sank? A lot of people have been asking me to cover Civil War stuff, and that's something I am going to look into. Before I cover anything else in the Civil War, I do want to talk about the Hunley. I've been to see the Hunley. It's very interesting. Jay, hey Sam, my birthday is at the end of this month. Well, happy birthday, Jay. Everybody in the chat, say happy birthday to Jay. Jay, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Captain Spammels, hello, I'm back, Sam. Hello, I'm back, Sam. Everybody say happy birthday. Backyard Garage, let's see. Are you going to be at any events? I don't know, maybe. We'll see. I haven't gotten in. No one's contacted me yet, so happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday, dude. Let's see. Jackal, did they have a ship they called? Wait, what? Historic Travels, did they have a ship they called in instead of? Someone told me. I don't know what you're talking about, Jackal. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. All right, I'm going to take a moment and get a drink of mocha. Mocha is the best coffee ever. It's bad how much I love mochas. Okay, Ivan, could you make a video on the SS Nomadic, the only surviving White Star Line ship? I am going to cover the Nomadic, but one thing that I want to do, anytime I cover a ship that's actually still around, I'd like to actually go visit that ship. That's one reason why I've been holding off on doing the Queen Mary, is because I want to go back to the Queen Mary. But right now the whole ship's closed, and I'm very worried about it because, the company that was taking care of it filed for bankruptcy, so they're trying to find another owner for her, so we'll see what happens to the Queen Mary. I would really love for them to fix that ship up because it needs a lot of repairs. Unfortunately, though, it doesn't seem like a lot of people care about her. I mean, I know people care about her, but you know what I mean. Poke, are you going to Are you ever going to talk about the Bassa, the ship that's sunk from Augusta Wind? I've never heard of the Bassa. I will look into that. I'm sorry if you all can hear that. There's an airplane flying over. Olympic class ocean liners. Are you going to do a video on the Romandisa Titanic? I've never heard of that. I will look into Romandisa. I'm going to save a note of that and put that in my notes for a video. Thank you so much. Copy and paste. I will take a look at that. Thank you so much. I get more video ideas from these live streams every week than anything else. Well, I get some pretty good ideas from the comments too. And I am going to make a dedicated video talking about why the Titanic could not have made it to the Californian. Although there is that whole theory. Let me ask you guys this in the chat. What do you all think of the whole idea of a ship going backwards? So as we talked about, if the Titanic was moving forward, it would put more pressure on the hull, thus accelerating the sinking. But I've heard a theory that if the ship would go backwards, it wouldn't put so much pressure on the hull. It doesn't seem like the right thing to do to me, but I don't have any reason to hate the idea, but maybe the Britannic could go backwards. What do you all think in the comments? Let's see. Al, sorry I mixed up the names. It was the Coprin Wilhelm that hit the iceberg. Okay, I'll look into that. Content. Could you make a video about the previous attempts to locate Titanic? Those videos talking about all the interesting, like the failed expeditions. That would be interesting. Y'all know that as early as 1913, 1914, there was some of the people who lost family members on the Titanic. They said that they wanted to, no joke, try to find the wreck and drop bombs on it and literally blow up the Titanic's remains and try to free bodies that are trapped inside the ship. And then they would try to recover the bodies as they floated up to the surface. That was something I read about. I'm like, okay. But again, I don't think they understood how deep the ocean was back then. I mean, they did, but you know what I mean. I saw a question of what Titanic items do I have? Just a piece of coal. I have some stuff from the Olympic though. Lisa, I heard about the bomb thing, yeah. Corvette, did you ever learn about Titanic in school? Maybe do a cool projects about the Titanic. Well, by the time I was in school, I already knew about the Titanic, and my classmates knew me. He's the Titanic guy. And I remember I was in 11th or I think I was in 11th grade, maybe 10th grade. And we were in a class where the teacher said, okay, in this class, we're going to talk about the Titanic. Does anybody know anything about the Titanic? And this one guy raised his hand and goes, yes, what do you know? And he went, it sank. And then she's like, that's right, it did sink. Does anybody else have any questions? And I like, does anybody else know anything about the Titanic? And I raised my hand, and a friend of mine named Lisa, who was sitting beside me, she looked at me like, no, don't. And I just stood up and I went, being funny, I went, April 14th, 1912, 11:40 p.m., RMS Titanic struck an iceberg on the starboard side below the waterline. And the teacher just stopped and turned and looked at me. I was being funny. I was being goofy. 5. Thank you from Brett. When I was younger, I watched Titanic so many times I wore out the VHS tape. And you know what? I'm sure I did too. My parents, they had a little TV at the store they were at, and I would bring Titanic up there, and I'm sure I wore out the tape. There were 2 tapes, I believe. Charlie, Sam, you missed my last comment. I'm sorry, Charlie. What was your comment? I'm getting so many chats. So just instead of saying things like I missed a comment, just keep resending me the message. That's the best chance you have for me to respond to it, because there's chats coming in like crazy. So I can't keep up with all of them. I'm doing the best that I can, guys. Apparently, I don't think any of my moderators knew about this. Ethan, do a video on the SS Princess Victoria Luce. I've never heard of that. She was ordered by Kaiser Wilhelm himself and is considered the first multi-purpose cruise ship. Interesting. SS Princess. Okay, I need to look into those ships like the Kaiser Wilhelm II and all that. I've heard the names. I've never researched them. But I am putting that on the list. World's first cruise ship. That would be a great video. Thank you. Okay, boom. Wait, dang it. Paste. Got it. Thank you so much. Jay, Sam, can you check out my YouTube channel? Just post a link to it in the comments for this video, and I will take a look. Saw, what if the bow section was buried in the mud? Would it be preserved for more like 100 years? You see, what some people don't know is that on the bottom of the ocean where the Titanic is, the seafloor is very acidic. So like one of the dive expeditions to the Titanic, they said that they found like, just use this as a reference. Pretend that this bottle of mocha is a teacup. They said that they found a teacup that was sticking up out of the seafloor like this. You know, say my hands on the seafloor, it was just sticking up like that. And then when they went down, they picked it up and lifted it up. The entire bottom section of the teacup was gone, while every part of it that was above the seafloor was in perfect condition. So the ground down there is very acidic, and I'm sure underneath the wreck, it's being eaten. So as far as the state of it right now, I have no idea. But the Titanic it's dealing with an acidic seafloor underneath the section, underneath the bottom of the ocean, and above it, it's dealing with hull-eating bacteria. So honestly, it's a miracle the Titanic has lasted this long, as far as I'm concerned. Let's see. Alex, could you do a video on the Queen Anne's Revenge? Ooh, the Queen Anne's Revenge. I need to look into that. I know the name, but I don't know anything about it. Trevor, do you plan on doing a video about the Ocean Ranger disaster? You guys are killing me with these great ideas. You guys are teaching me so much. I've never heard of that. I will look into that, though. Joseph, got to go. Really like your work, Sam. Well, thank you, Joseph. Have a good night. Everybody say good night to Joseph. Thank Joseph for being here. Bismarck, do a video on the SS Medic. SS Medic. I will look into that one as well. Man, so many ships. Shield production. Can you do a video on the fate of all the Titanic's officers? That is something I need to do. A dedicated video talking about all the Titanic's officers. And I would also like to include the captain. Now, I did make a dedicated video about Captain Smith already. And, speaking of the captain, so many people have asked me about this, because in my Captain Smith video, I talk about Thomas Andrews and his fate. And 9 times out of 10, when you talk to somebody about Thomas Andrews, they think that I believe they say he was in the first class smoking room. I believe that's where they say his last sighting was. But you see, that comes from A Night to Remember. But the problem with that is the guy who reported that was Thomas Andrews' last position, he actually left the Titanic like 20 minutes before the time he said he saw Andrews in there. Another survivor, and this is the one that I go off of, said that Thomas Andrews' last position was on the bridge wing, right around here with Captain Smith, as the Titanic was beginning its final plunge. And I believe it was Smith who said to Andrews, there's no sense in waiting any longer. She's going. It's time to go. So they were last seen jumping into the ocean over the bridgeway. That's what I think. That's the theory that I lean towards. Because the way Thomas Andrews was, he was always trying to help people. And they say he was kind of acting like Captain Smith, just not handling the situation well. And I don't think that was accurate. Imro, thank you for the 2. I found out I'm related to a first-class survivor. That's awesome, Imro. Who was it? I would love to look into that. Let's see. Sin. Let's see. Dylan, you should do a video on the ship blocking the Suez Canal. I need to look into Suez Canal now, especially that whole thing with London, and since I learned about it from The Crown. Suez Canal is definitely on my list. You know what would be another good video? How they built the Panama Canal. I think that'd be a really good video. Karslin, great video about the Estonia. They found recently that there's a giant hole in the side of the ship. Big mystery. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that yesterday evening, so I need to look into that a little bit more. The more I read about the Estonia, the more shifty the whole thing seems. Fish, you should do a video on the HMS Victoria. When it sank, it landed vertically. HMS Victoria. I'm going to put that in the notes as well. HMS Victoria. So many ships. HMS Victoria. Jason, can you do a video about the subs that sank? Ooh, submarine history. Yeah, that will be something we'll cover as well. Alex Crawford, make a video on Order 66. Commander Cody, the time has come. Execute Order 66. It will be done, my lord. Does anybody in the comments know what that's from? Brady, please make a video on the Andrea Gale. I will look into the Andrea Gale. I'm not very familiar with her. 2 from Inro. Charles Romaine. Afterwards, we lost. Oh, I'm sorry. Charles Romaine. I'm going to look into that person. I'm sure I can find them on Titanic Wiki. Thank you so much. That's crazy you're related to them. Let's see. Paste. Charles Romaine. Titanic victim. Okay, I will look into that. Did they pass away in the sinking, or did they survive, Ro? Star Wars Revenge. I knew people would get that. That's the joke, hee hee. Al, do you think it's possible to raise the Britannic? Yes, sorta. They can't just lift it up. You know, the Britannic is to this day the biggest ship on the seafloor. So, well, biggest passenger ship on the seafloor. So, I think what they would have to do is they'd have to cut it up, which I don't like the idea of them doing that because they're kind of destroying history. But they'd have to do that. I think they should just leave it alone. Hey, Alice Crawford, were you surprised that I did that whole quote thing? Commander Cody. Lisa D, bye. Oh, bye even. Okay, you're not leaving. Jackal, Historic Travels, did they have a ship they called HE instead of she? Oh, I've never heard. Oh, I see what you're saying. You're referring to how people always refer to ships as women. You know, oh, there's Titanic. Isn't she a beaut? I'm actually not sure about that if they've ever had a vessel called the he, or they refer to a ship as he. You know, typically, I guess people just name ships after their wives or whatever. And 2 more super chats. I can't pronounce your name. Miguel. Are you for or against raising the Titanic? If they could, I'm more or less against them raising up the hull. However, in recent times, I am more pro for them recovering artifacts. Imro, there was another $2. Thank you both, $2 each. He surprisingly survived. Really? Okay, I'm going to look into that. And Imro, I need to put your name in there as well so I can give you a shout out because if I can find enough information on them, I will do a dedicated video about them and I will give you a shout out for letting me know about them. Imro, gotcha. I will give you a shout out in that video. Join the Discord, Imro, because I would like to talk to you. And maybe, Imro, if you join the Discord and we can talk, I can actually record our conversation and I can put you in the video as a family member. That would be really cool to have a video talking about somebody's ancestor on the Titanic and have their living descendant still talking about it. What do you guys think in the chat? Would you guys like a video like that? Imro, if you're interested, please join the Discord. I really want to talk to you. Imra, I'm already part of it. Awesome. Okay, then we need to talk. Just DM me later. Fox Starline, gotta go, Sam. All right, Fox Starline, I'll see you later. And we'll talk later, man. Chris, $5. Thank you. Have you seen Dunkirk? I have. That movie is incredible. The older man who used his personal boat to rescue sailors was actually a real event inspired by Charles. Wait. I know Charles Lightoller was at Dunkirk, but I didn't know that. Did he sail into Dunkirk? Was he over on the UK side? Did he sail in there and pick up people? I didn't know that. I knew he was involved with Dunkirk, but I've never looked into it. That would be crazy. There is actually a little tiny tugboat or a civilian boat that went in to save people in Dunkirk, and its name was the New Britannic, and I thought that was hilarious. Like, really cool. New Britannic, I like it. Matthew, what type of music do you listen to? A little bit of everything. I really like I like country music. I'm from West Virginia. I'm a country guy. Hey. Um, I don't know. I like rock and roll. Depends on my mood, I guess. I really like classical music. So, The Greatest Showman's an awesome movie if you like that kind of stuff. Andrelic, are you going to do a reaction video to Titanic animations from the many on YouTube to see how accurate and detailed it is? To do reaction videos, I'm not exactly sure how to properly handle that because for those of you who don't know, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, about 10 to 15 of my videos got hit with copyright strikes over 10, 20, 30-second videos clips. So to do a reaction video, I'm using a ton of footage from other people's work. So I think I'd need to get permission from them first. I don't know how other people do it because you see a ton of reaction videos, but we'd have to go from there. Hang on 1 second, guys. Okay, I'm back. I am back now, guys. Okay, so Fi from Katie and Naisu. Thank you so much. From Itaki or Itachi. Hi Sam, could you do a video on the SS Atlantic sometime? Much love from Halifax. Wow, you're from Halifax. That's so cool. Yes, I am going to do a dedicated video on the Atlantic. I was actually considering doing the Atlantic because correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't the Atlantic sink on April 1st? So we are coming up on the anniversary of that. So I think I was considering doing one more ship video before Titanic week started, so I might cover the Atlantic. Controlled Chaos. If Titanic, $2, thank you. If Titanic hadn't turned, would it have survived? Not at those speeds. I think the ship would have had massive structural damage, and I don't think it would have survived that at all. Let's see. Okay, thank you for the 5. Thank you for the 2. And 5 from James, thank you. Love the content. What's your thoughts on Titanic 2? Oh, Titanic 2. If I had a nickel for every time I heard that name. So Titanic 2, they started talking about that back in like 2013, 2014 when I was in school. And they swore up and down it'd be on the ocean by 2016. I believe it's just one billionaire who's trying to sponsor the whole thing. And guys, what you have to remember, the Titanic is a very small ship by modern day standards. It's a dog. Modern day standards. So to build the Titanic 2, you're really just trying to capitalize off the name. And I don't have a problem with them building museums. I don't have a problem with them, making documentaries or the movies and all that. But I don't know. Part of me feels like it's a little disrespectful to make a Titanic 2, but it depends on how they do it. It could not be an accurate 100% recreation of the Titanic 2 because, for one, it wouldn't be legal. Because, the conditions that were in third class aren't exactly up to code these days. So I think it would just be a cruise ship that looks like the Titanic 2 or Titanic. So I have really mixed feelings about it. Hit, $4. Thank you so much. There was a ship named the Impersonator. I can't say that. Imperator. And it was a he. Okay. I don't know why I could not pronounce that. Thank you so much for the super chat. Matthew, if there was one, though, would you buy a ticket? That's it. Dr. Pat, would you do Titanic VR? I already made a video on Titanic VR. Shield production. Did someone get cut in half on Lusitania after jumping on its propeller while sinking? I heard something about that. A long time ago, I read the book Dead Wake. Great book, all about the Lusitania. It doesn't just cover the Lusitania. It doesn't just cover the Lusitania. It covers the entire history, including President Woodrow Wilson. $2. Say imperator. Okay. Anyway, thank you for the 2. Go ahead and laugh at my pronunciation of that. But yeah, the Lusitania, it goes over the entire history of the World War II, including Room 40. And for those of you who don't know, Room 40 was like Britain's top secret area. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Room 40 was where they discovered the Enigma code, or how they broke the Enigma code. Correct me if I'm wrong there. But yeah, I believe they said something about somebody getting hurt on the Lusitania's propellers. I believe, but don't quote me on that. Anyway, read the book. Jacko, William Gustloff, do you know about it? I made a video about it. Imperator had a nickname Limpeter, because it never sat on even keel. Okay, interesting. Okay, all right, guys. So just as a heads up, it is 8:19 p.m. and we've got about 10 minutes left on the live stream. So just giving you all a heads up, we're going to wrap up in about 10 minutes from now. Hugo, have you ever played or heard about Silent Hunter? I feel like I have, but I'm not an expert in all that stuff. Congrats, you found my channel. Welcome back. I recognize you. Can you cover the SS United States? Eventually, I will. The ship's still around, so I'd like to visit her. Bang, can you do a video on the Hindenburg? It's on the list. Gail, can we see Rosie? Rosie did make an appearance earlier, but she's asleep. We'll see. We'll see if she gets up, but she had a big day. But Rosie did make an appearance earlier, so if you want to see her, you can rewind the chat afterwards. Noob, darn it, I'm late. Well, you made it to the live stream, so that's good. Landon, Sam, can you do a video on Boiler Room 5 gas if the Boiler Room 5 gas wasn't made? I talk about that in a video where could anything have been done to save the Titanic, and I talk about that. So go check out that video after the live stream. I feel like I might have missed something. Okay, I didn't. Let's see. Okay. Hey Sam, have you heard of the MS? I have not heard of that, Jekyll. What is it? Isaac, Sam, we are learning about World War I in school, and my teacher showed us your video on Lusitania. Seriously? That's awesome, Isaac. Tell your teacher thank you, and show her this. Show her this comment. We are at 1 hour and 1 minute in the live stream. Let her know that I said hi to her, and tell her thank you. I appreciate it. Kurt, why was Fifth Officer Lowe disliked on the Titanic? You know, I've heard that. I don't exactly know why. I don't know that much about Lowe, but I know that I think he was just grouchy. You know, I think that was a bit. For those of you who don't know, Lowe was one of the last people to know about the sinking. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe he just came out in his PJs. Like he's like, "Hey, what's going on?" And they're like, "Oh, no one told you? The ship's sinking. Go get dressed." And he's like, "What?" Whoa, we got a 50 from Fox. Thank you so much. If I had to rescue one of these famous ships, I would choose Carpathia over the Olympian. Hero ships deserve better. Greetings from Argentina. Well, greetings from West Virginia. Thank you so much, Fox. Wow, Argentina, that's a new one. I haven't seen, if anybody, I think you're one of the first people I've ever watched me from Argentina. That's really cool. I love meeting people from different countries. It's incredible. But thank you for the super chat. That was incredible. I would choose Carpathia over Olympian. You know, it would be really cool to rescue the Carpathia. They did find it, though, didn't they? I believe that they found the wreck in one documentary. There hasn't been a lot of coverage over Carpathia. Elise, Imperator was then gave to Kennard. Oh, really? I didn't know that. That's awesome. And thanks for the $2. I need to look into that ship. Let's see. Corvette. Have you ever heard or considered a video on the SS Morro Castle? It was an ocean liner that caught fire in the 30s, and the wreck is quite a good story. I have not. But Corvette lover, I will make a note of that right now. Thank you so much for that comment. Corvette lover and the SS. You guys should see the list that I've got here. It's crazy. I don't have time to make it organized or look good because I'm on this live stream. I'm just copy and pasting. So I have to go back and clean it up later. But thank you. Noob, which is better in your opinion, A Night to Remember or Titanic? A Night to Remember. Titanic is a good movie. I am not knocking on the James Cameron movie at all. But what you have to remember is they were trying to make a film and get some characters involved that you know about it. You know, like they wanted you to know Jack and Rose as characters and make you feel bad that they would pass away in the sinking, or Jack would. A Night to Remember just covers the actual historical events of Titanic. So as far as accuracy, A Night to Remember is more accurate than the James Cameron movie, but the James Cameron movie is also very accurate for the historically accurate scenes that they show. You just kind of have to take that in mind. It's like James Cameron had to do this dance between Jack and Rose and what was really going on with Titanic. And my favorite scene in Titanic is right after Captain Smith tells the wireless people to send the distress call, and then it just jumps to the funnels, venting out all that steam. But if you don't know the story of Titanic, you wouldn't understand that significance. But when you know the story, the steam being vented out like that that's exactly what it was like. Let's see. Another 2 from Imperial, or at least again. Imperator was renamed, I can't even pronounce it. Bulgaria? I can't even pronounce that. But thank you for the 2. Arthur, yeah. Okay, Squashy, have you ever heard of, I do not know that. Let's see. Scoot, can you do a video on the SS America? It's on the list. Let's see. Mackenzie. Macanese. The disaster of the SS Princess Sophia caught on the rocks for days, unable to unload people safely in a storm with lost all hands worth a look. That is worth a look. I have never even heard of that ship. I am going to make a note of that right now. Thank you for telling me. I've never heard of that vessel. And how do you guys know so much? It's incredible. Let's see, paste. Thank you guys. All right. Now, just remember, guys, my whole other ships is going to slow down for a little bit because Titanic Week is coming up. At least you're sending me all these $2 super chats with all these pronunciations. Bear in Gary. At least, thank you. I saw the the hearts. Thank you. Let's see. Backyard. Sam is an imposter. Oh, for what? If any of you guys don't know what Backyard's talking about, there's this game called Among Us where one person's the imposter and everybody else is trying to figure it out. I've been playing on that on the Discord with a bunch of people, and more times than not, I've been the imposter. So that's what he's talking about. Jonathan, how do I join the Discord? There's a link in the community page. You'll just have to scroll through a little bit. I need to update that. The roller 3D models are same day, except they are average $50 and no delay in shipping. Honestly, that's great. I need to take a look at those. Millie, hey, me too. I'm from Argentina. Wow, 2 people from Argentina. That's awesome. Hank, I love your content. Are you ever planning to make a video about the ghost ship Orang Medan? Ah, the Orang Medan. Actually, we were just talking about this the other night. For those of you who don't know, the Orang Medan is at least $2. No problem. Can't wait to see your channel go. Thanks, Elise. Thank you for the pronunciation stuff. For those of you who don't know, the Orang Medan, there's even conspiracies if the ship actually existed. But the ship, basically, in a nutshell, it sent out a distress call. And then when they got to it, everybody was dead on board. But the people were, like, frozen. So, like, according to the story, if you believe it, when the crew walked on board, there were dead bodies all over the place, but they were just frozen in, like, scared position, like with their hands up above their heads. They were, like, frozen. So, and including animals on board. I don't know how accurate it is. There's mixed reports on it, but apparently there is some government documents on it. So, isn't it a Bermuda? Well, no, it wasn't the Bermuda. It wasn't in the Bermuda Triangle, was it? Jeremy, I would love to visit Argentina. I would love to visit Argentina too. Sam, I hope you hope that the Samson theory is on your list. The Samson theory. I need to look into that. I've heard that before. New Britannic movie in 2000 is a good movie. I loved it so much. To be honest, I don't see why they didn't use a mine. I haven't seen the Britannic movie. I need to look into that. I've seen some CGI from it, and it's not very accurate, but Dylan, you should do a video on the General Stockholm. Stockholm? I've heard that name too. I need to look into that. Let's see. So many ship ideas tonight, guys. So many ships I need to cover. Lukey, would you cover World War II famous shipwrecks? Yes, I am going to talk about that. I already mentioned earlier Bismarck, Hood. I want to cover the Yamatos. I'd like to talk about the Battle of Midway, Battle of the Bulge. One thing that's very interesting about World War II was the whole like intelligence warfare, like how the United States, they use those blow up, like those balloons of tanks and stuff to throw off the Germans. That was incredible. Like how they tried to trick people. And I could make an entire series about World War II. Would you guys like that? Would you guys like a World War II series at some point? $5. Thank you from SC. Can you make a video on Officer Boxhall? I mean, he fired the rockets at the wrong intervals. California ignored Titanic flares because of it. Was it always Boxhall that was firing off the rockets? I'm not sure about that. Yeah, I need to talk. I'm going to do a dedicated video on the officers like somebody else asked in this. As far as firing off the rockets, I do know about that. But it could just be, for those of you who don't know, the regulations for firing off ships' rockets at sea, that means distress, because the California was confused about it. You have to fire off the rockets in 1-minute intervals. And the Titanic did not do that. She fired 7 or 8 rockets over the course of 1 hour, but they were all scattered around at wrong times. So that does make sense that they would be confused. Patrick, please make a video on the best scale Titanic model. Well, I don't have that many Titanic models, and I don't really build models, but I could look into that. As far as the best models that I've seen, Tom Linsky on, I think he did on Part-Time Explorer. He actually made a video talking about the Trumpeter 1/200 scale model. That's way bigger than anything that I want to build, but I go watch that. That looks like an incredible model. Fo, how old were you when you started learning about Titanic? 6 or 7, somewhere around there. All right, guys, it's 8:28, so a couple more questions, and I'm going to wrap up the live stream. Titanic 279. Thank you. Can you make a video on the Empress of Britain? I've never heard of. Oh yeah, I don't think I've ever heard of that ship. I will look into that as well. I'm going to put that in the notes. Princess of Britain. Okay. I am not familiar with it, but we will find out. Princess of Britain. Thank you. All right. And one or two more questions, guys, and then we're going to close out for the night. Jared, do you think the Titanic would be as famous if it didn't sink? Love your videos. Keep up the good work. No, I don't. You see, the only reason back in the day, Titanic Olympic was famous. You know, pre the sinking of the Titanic, Olympic was the one everybody cared about because it was the first. Compare it to the whole Emra. What do you think of the Mirage Theory? $2. Thank you. I'll cover it in a second. But compare the Olympic to the Oasis of the Seas, the current Royal Caribbean ship. The second ship in the Oasis class is the Allure of the Seas. Better than the Oasis, but the Oasis is the one that most people know. So if Titanic had never sunk, then I don't think it would be anywhere near as famous. You know, that's what got so many of us into ocean liners. Titanic's just this oddity story. You know, just so many things happened. Emro, $2. Thank you. What do you think about the Mirage Theory in Titanic? I think it makes perfect sense. And I'm a really big believer in the Mirage Theory. Just with everything that happened that night, the whole light problems. I actually made a dedicated video about the Mirage Theory on my Californian video. It's one of my older videos, but I'd recommend you go check that out. So yeah, but I'm a very strong believer in the Mirage Theory. For those of you who don't know, essentially there's a big rumor or belief that I believe as well, that the iceberg was hidden from the Titanic's view by a mirage. So, but go watch my video on the Californian. I talk all about that. Chris, 5, thank you so much. The Romenzia Titanic is a complete replica to be a static floating hotel in China. Unlike other replicas, this one's actually under control. So that's what that is. Now, that would be cool to me. I actually like that idea because if it's just a building that they're building a replica of Titanic, I think that would be really cool because if it's just a building, then, you know, they wouldn't have to go through all this ship-like regulations. So they could actually make a replica of Titanic. That would be really cool. I'm surprised they're building it in China, though. This week in Civil War history, $5. Thank you so much. What do you think about the crew switch with the Titanic Olympic and missing key for the binoculars? Well, as far as the whole crew switch, I don't think that was uncommon for White Star Line to move people from one ship to another. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Shepard in the engine room was from the Olympic. And the missing key on the binoculars, I don't even think they would have been using binoculars the night it sank. So I don't think that would have made a big deal. Because you got to think, it's pitch black, there's no moon. The only reason they saw the iceberg was because the iceberg hid the stars on the horizon. It was just this big black mass that came out of air, you know? I don't think they would have been, with that low visibility, I don't think they would have been trying to look through binoculars. That's just me. I don't think the binoculars did anything. All right, guys. Thank you both for the super chat. One more question, and I'm going to wrap up for the evening. Let's see. One more question for tonight. Let's try to make... Cam, can you make a video about the story of the Britannic? I already did. There's a video on that on there. Let's see. I'm looking for a Titanic question or something. I'd like to make my last question a good one. Anybody got any last-minute Titanic questions? Okay, I'll just go with this one. From Bacon. Hey, Historic Travels, make a video about what if the Californian helped the Titanic. Also, I'm 9 years old, and I watch videos a lot. Thanks, Bacon. And wow, getting into Titanic at a young age. That's awesome. I always love it when young people are so interested in these ships from forever ago. It's really cool, you know. The next generation is learning about the past. It's really nice. But yeah, as far as like talking about that, let's see. I'm going to make dedicated videos talking about like all these type of scenarios. The whole Californian held in the Titanic, that would be a good what if video, and I will talk about that. But thank you so much for the comment. All right, everybody. Well, hey, this has been a great live stream. We've been up for an hour and almost an hour and 15 minutes. So everybody, thank you all so much for being here tonight. Oh, wait, did we get one last super chat that I missed? I think we did. There was one last super chat that I missed. Oh, you guys are keeping me on with these super chats. This week in Civil War history, thank you. What do you think about the Californian carrying blankets as its cargo? I've never heard that. Thank you for the 5, but I'm not familiar at all with the Californian's cargo. So, okay, I've never heard of that. But thank you so much for the 5. All right, everybody. Well, hey, thank you all so much for being here. And yeah, thank you. I will do some more research into the Californian. Thank you so much. All right, everybody. Well, hey, you all have a good evening. It's been a ton of fun. And yeah, all right, everybody. Well, hey, you all stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good night, everybody. Same time next week, there will be another live stream. All right, have a good night, everybody. And Elise, thank you for the $2. Bye-bye.